Every day I'm runnering. Do 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 do. Hello and welcome to Escape from Mount Backlog, one man's quest to defeat his game's library. Today we'll be looking at Mirror's Edge. Mirror's Edge was developed by DICE and published by EA in that golden era where EA was releasing new IPs, 2008-2009. This was in the same era that EA published games like Dead Space and Mass Effect, and importantly, they hadn't screwed up Command & Conquer yet. It is, if you haven't played it, a first-person parkour game with intermittent shooty bits that can be avoided with skilled play. Aesthetically, I hope you like high-contrast environments, with near-blinding white being the predominant color, because that's a thing. And I also hope that you enjoy possibly the best story that DICE has ever crafted, which isn't saying much, as their single-player campaigns for the Battlefield series have varied from utter shit to kind of okay. But what can I really say about a game that's already been covered and dissected to death by other internet critics, pundits, scholars and the like? I mean, this game has really been picked apart, every single aspect of it. So, what I'm gonna do is just tell you if it holds up in this, the year of our Lord 2017. Almost a decade after release, is it still worth playing, or has its time passed? The short version is no, it does not hold up. Not entirely anyway. Some of the elements are still striking, like the design of the world. It still looks good almost a decade out, and one could say that its minimalist use of color and high contrast visuals maybe inspired some indie developers down the line. Refunct, which I covered 2 weeks ago, comes to mind. You know, very similar sort of look. Yeah, that stripped away, high contrast, flat color look. And also the Whiteness, I guess? And maybe even that walking sim Proteus. Okay, so that's a point for the visuals. And of course, Solar Field's soundtrack is still good. I mean, good music doesn't age. If it did, nobody would still be hung up on the Beatles. And Nirvana would be a meme. No, wait, Thor Ragnarok's first trailer couldn't have gotten away with using Led Zeppelin's Immigrant Song. In fact, the soundtrack's clean electronic vibe is so good, like really good, I listen to it on its own sometimes. In fact, while I was writing the script, I was listening to the soundtrack. So that's another point then, one for the soundtrack. Now, let's get to where it doesn't hold up so well. Mechanically it feels archaic and stiff. First-person traversal mechanics have evolved since 2008. You need only look at Titanfall 2's traversal system, or those damn future CODs with all the wall running, and even 2016's Doom. Yes, I did just find a way to shoehorn Doom into a Mirror's Edge video, deal with it. What I mean to say is, in Mirror's Edge, it feels way too hard to build up a satisfying flow. Especially while climbing, I've constantly found myself stopping to look where the next ledge or platform was. The controls, upon reflection, are also kind of garbage. It's very specific as to what angle will initiate a horizontal wall run, and doing that 180 double wall jump reversal thing always felt uncomfortable, no matter in which way I remap the keys. I mean, I even put some of the keys on my mouse to see if that would make it easier, but it just always felt awkward. Well, when I eventually did get to use my keyboard and mouse. You see, when I first booted up the game, the keyboard controls just didn't work. Holding W was picked up as several quick presses instead of a hold, which resulted in this hilarious faith shuffling thing that you can see right now. It was entertaining for a hot minute, and one day, maybe if I'm lucky, it'll become a meme, but it did force me to use a controller for a while. And let's just say first person and controllers, much respect to console players out there, but it's just not suited to first person in my opinion. Oh, I did eventually sort out my keyboard. I don't know how or why, but it appears as though Mirror's Edge screwed with my keyboard's firmware. I had to uninstall and reinstall the drivers to fix it. Of course, I'm not saying Mirror's Edge caused the problem, but it is just a tad too coincidental. It also ran like garbage initially. I mean, look at this. It dropped to like 7 frames per second during a chase. That was ridiculous. I could not figure out what was going on. After fiddling with the options, I put it down to the old physics, not playing well with modern cards, because that was the one thing that made a significant difference. When I turned it off, my frame rate kept hovering around 60 FPS with VSync on. So that's a point against controls and a point against optimization, or playability rather. Another point against it is the shitty combat. I mean, possibly it's intentionally bad, but if DICE knows one thing, it's combat design. So even if the publisher mandated there has to be combat in this game, I know they could have done better. First person melee combat can work. I've seen it before in Ace Team's Xenoclash, which is a little indie game from a studio in Argentina, built on the Source engine. It's pretty interesting. Anyway, I should cover the sequel actually. Look, I could keep rambling on, but here's the thing. I respect DICE for trying something new before they fully transformed into just that Battlefield studio. But as a game, as a form of interactive entertainment, take off your rose-tinted glasses and leave it in the backlog, because Mirror's Edge doesn't hold up. And that'll just about wrap up this episode of Escape from Mount Backlog. Have you played Mirror's Edge? Is it stuck in your backlog? If it's still there, just leave it there. It's fine. Whatever. Don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and also do that little bell thing. I've been told that you have to hit that little bell next to the subscribe button, so why don't you do that? And just a quick thing, next week there won't be a multiplayer video on Wednesday. We've taken a break between games, but I'll still put something up, don't you worry. And tune in next time when we look at something, I don't know, something pixely, I guess? Sure, something pixely.